These are just a lot of great questions. In terms of content, you're treating my career like a small business. What legal technologies and tools do you recommend incorporating to streamline processes, increase efficiency, and ultimately enhance the overall proposition I offer to potential employers? Okay, so that's a good question. So in terms of technologies, that's a good question. Technologies you should have some sort of database or way to keep track of people and information. So what does that mean? That just means that you need to have some way to keep track of people that you've known and so forth in the future. You can use LinkedIn as a database, but you need to have some way to do that. That's one of the most important things. And then in terms of your value proposition, you want to make sure that you stand for something instead of nothing. If you look like you stand for something as opposed to nothing, then that's good. So you stand for one thing, not many, and that's it. So what does that mean? That means you say, I'm this type of attorney. I'm a product liability attorney that brings suits against toy manufacturers. Something very defined is better than something to say, I'm just a products liability attorney. I do defensive plans. You need to have some sort of value proposition that sticks out. Just think again, in terms of you, when you're buying something, you want to know if you have your choice. If you're in a food court and you can have Chinese food, you can have food from the Middle East, you can have Indian food, you can have American food. Each of those has a value proposition. The Indian restaurant's not trying to sell hamburgers and French fries. The Middle Eastern restaurant isn't trying to sell, Italian food. So everyone has to have a value proposition. You have to do the same thing. And the moment you see yourself not having that value proposition, and the other thing too is then in Indian food, there's different regions of Italy. In Chinese food, there's Szechuan, and there's all these different Cantonese and all these different brands of that. So you need to have a value proposition. And that's one of the things that when I say treating your career like a small business, that's something that a ton of people just aren't doing. And you need to do that in order to be successful. If you don't do that, you're just going to be part of the noise. And that's most important. And then in terms of the technologies, the big thing is you find places that no one else is applied to. That's important. So how do you do that? You find firms that no one knows about and locations that no one knows about that do your kind of work. And I hope that is an answer that helps you, but that's going to help you in your value proposition. The more you stand for one thing, the better off you'll be.